So what's this offseason been like for you? Just kind of getting accustomed to the level, to Eugene, to the University of Oregon?
I mean, yeah, like new country, new everything. So I'm just kind of getting used to the whole thing, and it's been pretty welcoming coming here, which is nice. And just having a bunch of really awesome facilities to use, and coaches to train with, awesome players to have fun with. So it's been an awesome off season. I think I've gotten a lot better, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this season.
Has there been a big difference philosophically in how Waz trains and teaches and how this staff does compared to where you came from at UBC? That's been a bit of a learning curve and adjustment for you?
Waz intense. Waz is real intense. So no, he's always got a plan though. So everything's real dialed, and he really wants to get the best out of every guy. So practice is pretty tough, and it's really like he's got a pretty tight knit schedule. So yeah, altogether it's a very put together practice and like very dialed schedule that we got here.
When you say this is a group that lost a lot of leaders in this locker room, guys on the pitching staff, hitters in the middle of the order this past year. When you came in, what was your impression of just culturally where this team was at, where its leaders were, and how have you kind of integrated into there?
First off, I'd say this is the most competitive group of guys that I've ever been with. We got guys that are working their butt off every single day, that are like they're there all day hitting or taking ground balls. So from that aspect of it, very competitive team. I think we have a great culture as a team. Like we all get along pretty well, which I think helps us out, and we can work together. And we all are kind of shooting for the same goal, which is to get to Omaha and win a national championship. So
baseball season is obviously a long season, but what kind of tone can you set in a first game, a first weekend? You know, what kind of goals are there in that regard this weekend?
Yeah, I think we just follow the game plan. I mean, we've been training all off season and we've had a good fall, so I think if we just kind of keep doing what we've been doing, we're going to kind of show everyone what we're capable of, because I think we can do some really good things this year.
Going back to what you said about Waz being so intense, did you have a moment when you first got here where you're like, all right, it's a little bit different? Like, anything that you remember?
I don't know if I'd say anything in specific, but he's, I mean, I knew what to expect. I got a pretty good scouting report from Tanner Smith, so I knew exactly what to expect, and no, I don't think anything really surprised me.
What was some of that scouting report?
Pretty much what I've said. He's full energy, and he's intense, and but he does really want the best for everyone, I think. So he's I've been really happy to have him.
For Oregon fans who are going to be seeing you for the first time and seeing your repertoire for the first time, just give them a kind of a preview of what your pitching arsenal is and what they'll kind of expect. I mean, they can look at the box score and see your stat line, but what they'll be seeing from you, particularly in this opening game.
Well, I'm going to try and throw a lot of strikes with my kind of sinker-slider changeup combo. A lot of probably see a lot of ground balls. Hopefully a couple strikeouts, but yeah, I just want to pound the zone with that 3-pitch mix.
So when you're relying mainly on infield outs and those sorts of things on the ground, what is it like playing with this infield with a couple of guys who are returning, in particular in the middle infield, left side of the infield?
Unbelievable. Our infield is lights out. Like, we got Josh Kasevich at shortstop, which is one of the best shortstop I've ever seen, and he's one of those guys working his butt off. Same with Sam Nowitzki at third base. That guy's an absolute vacuum. And then we got Gavin Grant at second base, Drew Cowley, Brennan Malone, all these guys, Tyler Gannis and Jacob Walsh. We got a lot of options in the infield, so it's really nice to kind of have that security and like just know these guys are behind me, waiting to make plays.
What has that process been like of developing chemistry with the new catcher and working with Jack, and just what's that relationship's just different compared to relationships elsewhere on the team? So just what's that been like?
Yeah, no, Jack's been awesome, and he's super. He really wants to know kind of what I'm liking. Like, hey, did you like the way I set up here? Or when you miss this way, do you want me to change anything? And I think it's really helpful that Jack used to be a pitcher, because he kind of knows what it looks like when I miss a spot or something happens, and he really knows how to adjust as a guy who used to pitch. So I've been loving throwing to Jack lately.
We've been watching Kasevich the last couple of years kind of emerging as like a future star, and he's starting to get potential as a guy who nationally he's getting a lot of respect. When you come here and start watching Kasevich just work out, do you immediately say, oh God, that guy's a dude? Or was it a process of kind of getting to know him and getting to work out with him and gaining that level of appreciation?
I think the presence that guy carries is just legit. Like I said, I don't know if I've ever seen a guy work harder than Josh Kasevich. And so I think right when I got here, I just kind of knew this guy was a dude. Just seeing kind of the way he moves in the infield and his swing and the way balls kind of travel off his bat. He's legit, and just kind of his mentality behind things kind of adds on to that.
What's the transition been like to a full-time pitcher, and do you miss playing shortstop?
I miss playing. Yeah, I miss hitting. Hitting's too hard for me though. Once guys start throwing 90 plus with a curveball, I'm kind of toast. So the transition's been fine. I miss hitting here and there, but I am kind of glad that I get to spend all of my time working on pitching stuff, and I think that's helped me quite a bit. So,
is there anything in particular from that you've really been able to dial in on the pitching side that you just didn't have the time to before?
Something that's really challenging, I think, for two-way guys is just managing the workload in college. So I'm trying to balance between playing catch and throwing bullpens and then going to play in the infield, throwing balls across the diamond, or I'm in the outfield sometimes. So really hard to manage the workload on your arm. And secondarily, I think I've just been able to train specific to pitching entirely without having to work on hitting. So
you mean that just weight room wise, kind of all that kind of side work?
I will say though, hitting for such a long time, I think I got a pretty good sense of what it's like to be a hitter and kind of the challenges of that, because hitting is really hard. So just kind of learning what hitters are thinking about, I think kind of helps me on the mound as well.
Your sinker slider combo, did that just come naturally to you as a pitcher, or is that something that you've been working on for years at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up throwing just a pretty traditional curveball. That kind of my dad taught me when I was young. And I think as I started throwing and getting used to my body and stuff like that, it just kind of transitioned more into a sweepy horizontal pitch. So I'd say it kind of developed over the years from that curveball.
Anthony and everyone get you involved in the TikToks yet?
A little bit. Anthony and Aon are pretty hardcore on the TikToks, but I'm not fully on that, but they're cool sometimes.
Just curious, you guys are starting to get a bit of an audience there in this space. Yeah,
I kind of like it sometimes to do a couple dances. It's pretty cool, but
not hitting anymore. You have more time for TikToks, right?
Yeah.
And have you worked on your changeup much since the summer? You feel comfortable using it in games?
Yeah, I like my changeup quite a bit. I'd still say at this point it's probably my third pitch. But no, I've developed quite a bit of confidence for it.